Wednesday, August 5th. We are here post-election day, and we are glad you are with us. And we want your participation today. 314-436-7900 in just a little bit. I mean, we will open it up to you if you have thoughts on what occurred yesterday. We'd love to hear from you, okay? 314-436-7900. That is the call or text. You can leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app. You can watch the show live on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Twitter. Hell, if you have 3 screens, you could do it on all 3 of them at once if you want. We are on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. On the other platforms, find us at KMOX News.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
We do have election results from yesterday, the primary taking place, and the people voted on a couple of very important amendments, and we'll have all the details in a moment.
And you may have heard of the foreign cyber attacks on water structures and infrastructure around the country. Retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling joins us at 11 to talk about those cyber attacks, plus the conflicts in the Middle East and between Ukraine and Russia.
And the Cardinals lost in New York last night to the Yankees. However, Hunter Dobbins had a really nice start for them. He went into the 7th inning, gave up a couple of runs. He takes the loss, but he did pitch well, which is good news. We're looking ahead to the Cardinals' future. They will continue their series, actually wrap it up tonight in New York, in the Bronx. 5:10 is the pregame show and a 6:05 first pitch. And now it's time for Election Central.
What?
Oh man,
baby.
Look at us.
This sounds real.
Here's what I will tell you, Amy. When it's CNN time,
yeah,
or Fox or whatever these people are doing during election results.
These people, okay, yeah.
These news people.
Yeah.
With all their numbers and their statistics and their percentages and vote totals.
Yeah.
It should be us up there.
You know what's funny that you say that? Because I was just thinking people across, not just the state, but across the country, listening to KMOX, interested in what happened with these election results in the state of Missouri.
Yeah.
And they turn on the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX radio. They hear this music in the background. It's kind of funny that it's the two of us who are here.
You know what it really is?
Why are we here?
All right, well,
what do we have to say?
Who's won? Who's lost?
Couple of jabronis on the radio talking about election results.
Well, speaking of winners, you and me, baby. We are winners. We're big winners. Should
we start with the 2 big amendments?
The 2 big amendments. Amendment 4.
Which would have effectively ended citizen-led initiative petitions because it would have required that all 8 congressional districts vote in favor. It would have rendered that moot. Amendment 4 got shellacked.
Big loser.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Big loser, Amendment 4. And it just, and not only was it a loser, Amy, but it was a big loser. And when we get to Amendment 5, we're gonna have the same kind of conversation here. Yeah. I thought it would be a pretty significant loss. I did not think it would end up the way it did in either case.
Right. When they called the race at 8:25 last night, it was almost at 82% for the no votes.
Yeah.
It got absolutely walloped.
So 4 out of every 5 people voted against Amendment 4. And that is a beating, and it does not happen all that often.
Right. And and what's interesting about this, even as we get into Amendment 5 and the other races as well, when you look at the election, this is a, red state. We've got a Republican legislature. You have a Republican governor. And the people soundly rejected Amendment 4, which was Republican-backed, obviously. And it was to make it more difficult to amend the state's constitution. And I actually talked to quite a few Republicans who agree with that sentiment. but thought Amendment 4 was just a joke, that it would have effectively ended any citizen-led initiative petitions.
We're going to have Hancock and Kelly with us for the final half hour of this hour. They'll join us just after 9:30, and they'll be with us until 10. And I know Hancock on Friday, when we talked about this, said basically, and I'm paraphrasing for him, that if they wanted to do something to make it more difficult to amend the Constitution, fine. Like, maybe raise the percentage. Maybe it's got to pass with 55 or 60% of the vote or something like that. But this was a crazy idea that it just didn't seem to have any chance of passing. Now we move to Amendment 5, which would have eventually ended the state income tax. Also a big loser.
You lose. Good day, sir.
83% for the
80,
nose.
Even worse than Amendment 4.
know.
You thought 80%. You thought 4 out of every 5 people voting against it? Well, 83% voting against this. That's really,
it's really
a big
interesting.
number.
And again, this was an amendment that Republican Governor Mike Kehoe was a vocal, outspoken proponent of. And this was a Republican pushed initiative here, obviously, with the legislature. And I had said this before, back when I was on with Charlie Brennan, when Missouri voters voted to raise minimum wage, when they voted to legalize cannabis, and when they proved themselves a very pro-union state. That this is a red state, but this is not your grandparents' Republicans in a lot of ways because of the 3 issues that I just mentioned. And that's actually Sarah Fensky, our friends over at St. Louis Magazine, said the same thing. She said, I'll say this for Missouri voters, they can't be pigeonholed. The same group that consistently votes for Republicans also backs abortion, cannabis, gambling, and minimum wage increases.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
And some of those pass by smaller margins, but they still do pass by majority vote. Also on the ballot, finally a winner, Amendment 1. Which I know Amy is very happy about.
I was so excited to fill in that circle.
It extends the 0.1% sales tax supporting the parks in the state, and also for water and soil conservation. So 0.1% people passed that, and that got a good amount of votes too. 75% voted for this, Amy.
Yeah.
You were one of the 75%.
You got to love the parks.
I voted against it just to spite you.
Did you cancel out my vote?
I did. I was like, Amy's going to vote. I'm voting against her. Like, I actually want this to pass, but I'm voting against her. Just out of spite.
That's so rude. That's unbelievably rude.
I did not do that. I did not do that.
I don't know how much we share or not on air. I was very excited to vote yesterday. And because it is the primaries, some of the issues that, like we said, a lot of races are determined in the primaries, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, St. Louis County executive, you kind of know. St. Louis County prosecutor, I'm not even sure there was a Republican running, so I'm not sure. But I pulled a Democratic ballot, and I was excited, to vote for some of the issues that I was most passionate about and the positions I was most passionate about, knowing, like I said, some of the elections are, in some cases, decided in the primaries just because of the way districts and counties vote.
And now the one I was the most passionate about in this entire race, that is Amendment 2. And that is whether or not all county tax assessors need to be elected officials, which only affects Jackson County.
Yes. And
I was so worried about this, and Amendment 2 is a winner.
You're never going to believe this.
A winner for Amendment 2. I did not sleep last night.
Yeah, you were worried about Jackson County?
Even though the results were out way before, I still didn't sleep. I was so excited that Amendment 2 passed with 75% of the vote. Because it is... Wait,
I thought that was already fixed, to be honest.
what are you talking about?
I thought Jackson County got its act together even before the primaries.
All of us in Jackson County, we just don't... it takes us a while.
But you did it.
We did it.
You did it.
We did it.
Hey, I think Prop U failed, didn't it? Prop U, the use tax, remember about these online sales taxes?
You know what? Stop throwing things out there unless you know the answer, dummy. I don't know.
I have it.
We'll find it.
Yeah, they rejected Prop U. St. Louis. Say this is St. Louis County.
In the state of Missouri, District 1, the primary for the Democratic Party, the U.S. representative a seat currently held by Wesley Bell, was formerly held by Cori Bush. Well, the two rematched, and the winner in this one is Wesley Bell, who wins by a pretty good margin. So it wasn't all that close. And I honestly did not know what to expect, how it would go, just how overwhelming it would be. But I kind of figured he would win.
So a couple of things. I had heard, I was on Donnybrook, actually. We talked about this exact race, and there was a split opinion on whether or not Cori Bush would be closer this time than the last time, if she would prevail over Wesley Bell. And here's the thing. I am glad. I'm not a fan of Cori Bush, of her policies. We also know that she was not an effective legislator in Congress. But interesting note, there was a different vibe to this race, because Cori Bush, while running as, the anti-institutionalist, and she's trying to unseat an incumbent, she also has already served in Congress. So it felt like two incumbents, kind of, in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Running against each other. It didn't quite have
it was a strange
flair.
race.
It didn't have the same flair as when Cori Bush upset Lacey Clay. And you're like, oh my gosh, Lacey Clay had been in there forever. And this woman comes from, Ferguson and just unseats him. She didn't even have that behind her, because she felt also like, yeah, we've seen her before.
Well, this race was not as close as the last time. It was a 5.5-point difference when Bell won in the last primary to defeat Cori Bush. This time he had 59% of the vote.
You know what? There is a lot of noise that you hear during campaigns. There's a lot of chatter. There's national headlines, and everybody has an opinion. But we approach this from in a very simple way. We are going to work for the people right here in St. Louis.
And so Wesley Bell will remain, probably, because now he's got to face the Republican. Who is it?
Nobody knows. It's District 1. Nobody knows.
It's District 1, so Wesley Bell will be still the congressman for
back
this
in 2024, the Democratic primary election between Wesley Bell and Cori Bush was one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, U.S. House primary in the country, in American history, which is wild. And that one, believe it or not, for the first time in a while, I'm not in District 1.
Yep.
And so, because I had previously voted in District 1.
So I'm certain that we'll have a conversation with Congressman Bell at some point here in the near future. He has been on this show multiple times. Also, folks who have been on this show, county executive, St. Louis County executive. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And St. Charles County executive. Got a couple of races there that we will continue our election coverage. What do we call this? We should have had a big catchy name for it.
How could we not have a name for this? I wish we had a producer who pushed us to be
better,
creative and better.
Me too. Yeah. It is the Chris and Amy show post-election day. Hancock and Kelly will join us at 9:30 on KMOX.
You've pictured it, the garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 13th. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
For years, Gone South has been a podcast about crime in the American South. But for our new season, we're widening the lens. Through deeply reported, narrative-driven stories, we're digging into the myths, scandals, and power structures that still shape the South, and, in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Summer is waning, sadly, I know, but you've had enough time now to really assess how your outdoor space is working. Is it working for you? You've probably noticed whether the deck is starting to buckle or splinter and needs replacing, or you'd really like a fence to separate you and your neighbor. Whatever it is in your outdoor space, it's never too late to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Now, what does that mean, the sign you have the very best? Well, first of all, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years, a third-generation locally owned family company. They also have an incredible reputation because they only use the best quality materials, and they have their own installation crews, which is very important because they have years of experience. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck is going to stand behind everything they do. When you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll also take 20% off your next outdoor project. So go with the best. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You can visit them in person, or they'll come to you, or visit online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Ooh, this post-election coverage.
This isn't a club.
Music bed is a little more sinister.
Is it sinister or clubby or both?
I think it's sexy.
You know what it makes me feel like?
This is sexy?
It makes me feel like I'm in like a JW Marriott. And I just walked in Chicago at the JW Marriott. That's what this music feels like.
The JW Marriott?
I've actually never stayed at a JW, but this is what I picture it sounds like.
Okay.
I've
I'm
stayed
gonna
at
let
the
you have
Hampton
that.
Inn. They don't play this at the Hampton Inn.
They do not play this at the Hampton Inn.
I can tell you that.
Or the Drury.
But
Or
they
the
have-
Holiday Inn.
But the Hampton Inn does have great beds. Okay.
More races.
More races. Can I just say this, though, because we need to get to the St. Louis County executive race. And I know budget was a big issue with the St. Louis County executive race. And I brought up Prop U and how it was rejected. The county budget office was estimating that Prop U, which would be a use tax on like online purchases, remote purchases, that it could generate $71 million to $141 million annually. I kind of thought Prop U would pass, but maybe, I'm not sure. It had a chance.
Everything's got a chance. The Cardinals have a chance at the playoffs.
They do.
And I still maintain that they will be in the conversation in September.
I like it.
I have to, because I said that for the last 8 weeks. In the county, St. Louis County, we are looking for a new county executive, as Sam Page is not seeking re-election. We spoke to both Brian Williams and Jake Zimmerman, who are running as Democrats, and very likely it's going to be one of those two who wins. We also spoke to Dennis Hancock, who is running for county executive as well. The lone Republican. So there's nothing for him to worry about. Jake Zimmerman is the winner. With 46% of the vote, he comes in ahead of Brian Williams. I don't know what to make of that because I initially, when Williams announced he was running, I just figured, okay, that's probably who it's going to be. He's got the name recognition. People do know who he is. I figured he would be the one to advance. And Jake Zimmerman, he's got the goofy commercials, and he's a little out there.
Was
we
it
spoke to him.
Reassuringly nerdy?
Yeah.
What was the
I think so.
adverb before the adjective?
I know what you're talking about.
Reassuringly nerdy? Yeah.
And I didn't think, I wasn't sure. But
It
Zimmerman,
didn't hurt that he was already the county assessor.
Correct.
I feel like that helped.
It did. Brian Williams, a state senator, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought that maybe Williams would do better here. But Jake Zimmerman put together a campaign that appealed to people, and now he is very likely going to be the St. Louis County executive.
I have to be honest, I was not excited about anybody.
Why?
Eh.
Are you excited about anything?
Yes, I am excited about things. Amendment 1. Woohoo. But I will say the county executive race was one of those where I think a lot of people were probably more excited about Sam Page being out than they were about either or any of the candidates potentially coming in. I really think that's how most people feel, is, as long as it's not Sam Page. Now, Jake Zimmerman did speak with St. Louis Magazine after his victory speech, and he said, let's be clear, this is just one win. We've got to win in November, and more importantly than any of the politics, there's work to do. This job is going to be tough. Fixing this budget deficit is no joke. And that will be his focus because St. Louis County has a massive budget issue right now.
Meanwhile, in St. Charles County, the executive Steve Ellman, who has been there for several years, he decided not that long ago to run for re-election when we thought he was going to be done with that. It seems like he wanted to be done with that, and I think he even kind of told us last year that he was. Well, he felt like it was an environment that he needed to run. He went against Bill Eigel and Jason Law, and Steve Ellman is a big winner. With 47, almost 48% of the vote. Bill Eigel with 32% of the vote. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
What?
Bill Eigel, can I do this seriously?
Start over. Be serious. We're supposed to be trusted.
Sorry.
Bill Eigel. Bill Eigel with 31.7% of the vote. Okay. That's not, you know what? That is not becoming of KMOX.
Nothing. You lose.
That
Good
sounds
day,
smaller
sir.
than a blowtorch.
It's a lot. Maybe if all those books could have voted for him.
I think the books would have survived that, whatever we just heard.
Jason Law ends up with 19% of the vote. Okay. All right.
You know what? Jason Law shouldn't have made the AI commercial.
You don't make the AI commercial
Yeah.
where Steve Ellman and Bill Eigel, of course, they get together and yuck it up in the office.
And they're cackling. Steve Ellman is sleeping and Bill Eigel wakes him up. This is all AI, obviously. And they're, let's tax the old people. That was the AI commercial. Come on. You deserve to lose because of that.
I mean, what are we doing around here? But Steve Ellman, he is coming back. He's the big winner.
We have a lot of people to talk to.
We do. In fact, we're going to talk to two of them. One of them was kind enough to make it here, Michael Kelly. The other one went and had car trouble.
Yeah.
But he's still going to be with us remotely. So we've got Hancock and Kelly joining the show with their election takes next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We don't just cover St. Louis. We share it. That's why the stories you hear every morning aren't just headlines. They're about your neighborhood,
Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of
your roads,
Westbound 270 North County just had some volume on
your Cardinals,
Riley O'Brien strikes out the side in the 9th inning.
your community.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
This is Debbie Monterey.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Total Information AM. Weekdays on KMOX.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
78 degrees right now. A shower in the area late this morning, followed by maybe some heavy thunderstorms around this afternoon that can bring localized damaging wind gusts. A high of 92 tonight. Partly cloudy, maybe more showers and thunderstorms. A low of 73. Weather sponsored by i3 Broadband. With the kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber and i3 Broadband is here for you.
My constipation with belly pain kept coming back. I'm back! Like her. Future me. You know why I'm here. Our doctor figured it out. Your symptoms keep coming back because it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. And Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is the #1 prescribed branded treatment for IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily prescription pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And right now, FanDuel's giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. So here's how it works. So new customers can place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. And with baseball on every day, there's always another game, another matchup, another chance to get in on the action. Now, that's whether you're betting money lines or player props, same game parlays, whatever. FanDuel has you covered. So place your daily $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 in bet resets. So go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Just remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund is $200 a day. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambler.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees.
Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy show on KMOX. Yesterday, the primaries happened, several around the country. We had amendments to vote on as well. And just this is happening over the last several minutes. In Michigan, I know people are focused on that U.S. Senate race in Michigan, the Democratic primary between Haley Stevens and Abdul El Sayed. Well, that's been a 1% difference in voting. They were still counting votes. Well, she has conceded. So Abdul El Sayed is going to be the Democratic nominee up there. We've got Hancock and Kelly with us.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Michael Kelly is here in studio.
Does
John
feel like
Hancock
Friday.
is in a car somewhere, or he's trying to figure out.
No, he
I
looks
see him in his
very
home office.
official. I feel like I see the seal of Chesterfield behind him.
I do see that.
That's the state seal of Missouri, boys and girls.
Oh, is that what it is?
Very
I can't.
nice.
My
Very
eyesight
nice.
isn't so good.
Okay, I'll just throw it out here, and John, maybe you want to jump in first. And this is something that has struck me since the days of Charlie Brennan, which is Missouri is a red state. We've got a Republican legislature, a Republican governor, but it's not your grandpa's Republicans, because this is a state that it's shown itself to be pro-union, pro-raising the minimum wage, pro-marijuana, and pro-abortion, while still voting red.
Yep. So if you think about an ideological grid where the top left is fiscal conservative and cultural conservative, and then you go to the top right, which is fiscal conservative and cultural liberal, which is like a libertarian. Bottom left would be a fiscal liberal and cultural conservative, and bottom right, fiscal and cultural liberal. The bottom left quadrant, fiscal liberal and cultural conservative. That's a pretty good description of where the state of Missouri is. And that's why you see things like minimum wage passing at the ballot box. But the cultural divide in the country for the last 20 years or so has come to define Missouri voting patterns globally, statewide. And I think that explains some of this.
Were you surprised at all by the extent to which Amendment 4 and Amendment 5 got shellacked?
Well, I knew they were both going to go down big. I was surprised at how big Amendment 5 went down. But I was quite convinced that both of them were going to fail by a lot.
Yeah, and the governor just had an absolutely disastrous evening. He was the face of these of the Amendment 5 for sure, and de facto winds up becoming part of Amendment 4 since the opponents kind of lumped them together. And this is on top of a couple of 18 months of really not the best outcomes for Mike Kehoe. I think the governor had the worst night of anybody last night, and I wonder what that means for his next 2 years.
Bill Eigel might beg to differ with that assessment, but I hear you.
Well, we'll talk about that race a little bit later on. But yeah, I do think that it is notable that I kind of thought, I don't know, and I didn't have any polling on my end, obviously, but I thought maybe they'd lose by 60, 65%, but 80% plus margins on both of those, that's pretty overwhelming. You don't see votes like that very often.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised about 4 because there was hardly any money spent supporting it, and almost all of the money was spent on the anti-side. The other thing that is true, whether it's this cycle or in history in Missouri, is whenever there's any significant money expended on a no side of a ballot proposal, it almost always fails. And this is no exception.
But it was flawed before it even started. It didn't spell out where the money was going to come from. It had so many issues there. And then when you started to look at a lot of the landscape, when the Chamber of Commerce is not supportive of something the governor says is going to bring revenue and opportunity to the state of Missouri, that's a little troublesome. Then you get to some of these rural counties. You know, the most powerful person in any rural county, really rural county, winds up being the superintendent of schools because they simply have the largest employment base, they have the largest budget, they have the biggest communication. You have these folks against that stuff. So now the governor's typical base of, you know, we vote for everything, you know, that he wants is out. And then you get education out there where you had, you know, unions, companies, a lot of people spending money to educate people on exactly what the repercussions of Amendment 5 were going to be. I was shocked with how big the defeat was, and I'm also very encouraged.
You know, and let's not forget that there is a very healthy dose of skepticism in the electorate about elected officials, and I don't think that was helpful for the passage of Amendment 5.
John, how much of Amendment 5's failure do you attribute to the fact that it felt undercooked, meaning they didn't really expound and explain how they were going to make up the revenue gap? There was a lot of trust us, it will work out, it will be fine. Yep. So how much of its failure do you ascribe to that? And also, do you see this issue of eliminating income tax resurfacing in the future with a more fully baked explained plan?
I doubt it. But to your point, Amy, you know, I don't think that would have made a difference in the outcome just because of the sheer amount of money that was spent on the no side. However, you know, had they spelled out how they were going to replace the revenue, how the phase out of the income tax and the roll up of the sales tax was going to take place, perhaps that would have gotten, if they would have exempted, say, real estate transactions from sales taxes. That may have been sufficient to get the realtors who put $2 million into this campaign out. So possibly it would have had a different outcome. But you still had the unions and the liberals and national left money coming in opposing this. And look, you know, I mean, we don't have to relitigate this, but it would have been a tax cut for the vast majority of Missourians. What I think is going to happen is I think the governor is going to pursue the path of the last decade, where as revenues to the state increase, the income tax is ticked down. We've gone from 6% to 4.7% over the past decade. And I think those efforts, if revenue increases, I think you'll continue to see that approach to this issue. It's just going to take a lot longer to eliminate the income tax that way.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe that's what he's going to spend his time on. I don't know. I mean, he got a pretty resounding answer as to where Missouri voters are on this stuff. I just don't think this is an issue that Missouri voters believe that the billionaires and Mike Kehoe's buddies think it is. I think at the end of the day, they'd like to see a local or state government that's operating, that paves the roads, that actually builds infrastructure, and makes commerce possible. And I just don't see them doing much with this. If they do continue to go down this road, it will be good for my party.
We've got Michael Kelly, John Hancock with us for another segment. We want to talk specifically about the races like Congress, District 1, and the county executive races as well. We will do that when we come back. Hancock and Kelly on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every step matters. That's why Steve All and the entire team at the All Financial Group have signed up to walk and fundraise for the St. Jude Walk on September 12th. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. And here's what makes them truly remarkable. Families never receive a bill from St. Jude, so parents can focus on one thing, and one thing only, their child. We want you to be a part of this. You can join our team and walk with us on September 12th or simply make a donation. And here's the good news. Steve will personally match every dollar you give up to $1,000. To donate or to register to walk with the All Financial Group, visit steveall.com. That's steveaul.com. Or call 636-230-8824 for more information. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, a registered investment advisor. All Financial Group LLC is not affiliated with St. Jude's Research Hospital and does not accept or collect donations on their behalf.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Mark scores because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Talking about the races in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Missouri, St. Charles with Hancock and Kelly on the Chris and Amy show. Wanted to get into some of the specific races here. We've got James who's watching on YouTube. You can watch the show on YouTube. Find the KMOX news page. He says, I'm not sure anybody cares about these races. How dare you?
That's not true. I think
we care so much about these races, and you should too.
I'll tell you what, St. Louis County, I think it's fair to say the majority of St. Louis County is super excited that Sam Page is on the way out. And I think they're more excited that Sam Page is on the way out and care less about who won.
So here's who did win.
But here's who did win.
Jake Zimmerman gets 46% of the vote ahead of Brian Williams with 34%. So very likely Jake Zimmerman is going to be your next county executive in St. Louis. He has to beat Dennis Hancock, though.
No, he is going to be the next county executive. John and I have been talking about this. Whoever wins in St. Louis County Democratic primary is going to be the county executive. This was, if you think back 6 months ago, I thought Brian Williams was an inevitable choice. He had the money, he had the institutional support, and quite frankly ran one of the worst strategic campaigns, chose to almost be absent from it. And Jake Zimmerman ran an incredible campaign. The entire campaign was fought under the terms that Jake Zimmerman put out there. Literally, there was discussion about whether or not an African-American politician, Democratic politician, was a part of MAGA. I mean, come on. That's when you've defined a race, and that's what Jake Zimmerman did to Brian Williams and ate his lunch. I also think that having Mosley in the race was a spoiler for Brian Williams. I still wonder, based on the poor quality of Brian's campaign, if it would have been a straight-up race. I don't think it would have been much different. I think Jake Zimmerman would have won.
John, how do you feel?
Yeah, and remember, Zimmerman's lost at least a couple of times, right? He's run for this office and other offices. I mean, he's not the greatest candidate to ever be born. Williams made, what I consider one of the most egregious errors in politics. He functioned as his own campaign manager. You should never, as a candidate, function as your own campaign manager. That was a huge miscalculation. I don't know if it was born of a lack of trust. But that campaign, Michael's right. I mean, it was laid out on a silver platter for him. He had money. He had all of the Democrat institutional donors in the St. Louis region supporting him, and he squandered all of it. And Zimmerman, because he was disciplined and because he defined the race, as Michael said, he was able to win.
Why should you not? You just said you should not run your own campaign. Is this the same reason that you don't want to be your own agent if you were a ball player?
Yeah, you're too close to it. And when you pull all of that internal, it shows a lack of trust in other people. And I've not seen, and there's been plenty of candidates that had good political instincts and skills. I'm thinking about Claire McCaskill. Ann Wagner would be another example of people that have really good political instincts. I'm not so sure that that's the case with Brian Williams, but regardless, you've got to kind of detach yourself. Your job as a candidate is to raise money and meet people, period. And when you're running the race and making the strategic calls, and especially when you're getting attacked and you take it personally and it's just a recipe for failure.
Hey, John, before we move on from St. Louis County, quick question about Prop U, the use tax, which would have been local taxes on certain online out-of-state purchases. It failed 63% to 36%, but the county budget office estimated that could have brought in between $70 and $140 million for the county. And with a county that is in a massive budget deficit right now, is that a bigger deal that failed than maybe we've realized?
Oh, yeah, because sales tax receipts in the county have been going down. That's part of the reason why they've got an $80 million shortfall. I don't envy Jake Zimmerman walking into this mess. But Prop U, which is the second time I think it's failed on the ballot, you can lay that at the feet of Sam Page. There was no communication to the public about why this was important. Retailers in St. Louis County are taking it in the chops because they can't compete with the Amazons of the world because of the sales tax. And that case wasn't made to the voters. They're going to have to go back out with it. The state of Missouri's already passed this in terms of the state sales tax. It's called the Wayfair bill.
Yeah.
And St. Louis County is going to, they got an $80 million budget hole. They're going to have to plug it either by cutting or figuring out the revenue side without, dramatically raising taxes on people.
Yeah, I mainly agree with everything John just said. Just quickly, because I know we got to go to the next thing, I'll say that this is a big problem the county's about to face. And the spiral of losing revenue in St. Louis County goes quicker than it will happen in the city because you have more people, et cetera. And, I think this was a failure of leadership of the council who can't get along with each other, can't decide what day it is, and the county council who need to be helping the citizens understand These are services you used to pay for, and now you're allowing to go scot-free, and it's going to affect your policing. It's going to affect your fire, et cetera. And I think they've only made their problem more problematic.
All right, Steve Ellman wins the Republican Party county executive in St. Charles race over Bill Eigel and Jason Law. He himself gets close to 48% of the vote. Hancock, your thoughts on that race?
This is massively important to the region. Bill Eigel was a disturber, and many people thought, including myself, that in a three-way race, he kind of had the inside track because had such a draw with the MAGA GOP base. I think some of that draw got eroded in the process of the campaign. And Eigel's now lost a primary for governor. He ran for Republican Party chairman. Everybody thought he was going to win that. He lost. He ran for county executive. Everybody thought he was going to win that. He lost. I think, he comes out of this thing, in really bad shape. And kudos to Steve Ellman, a stable hand in the leadership of St. Charles, and the voters there rewarded him with yet another term.
I believe that this was the most important and consequential election that took place in the state of Missouri yesterday. We have a city that's obviously in trouble and dealing with some problems. We have a county that's in an uncertain state, right? Continues to see its budget numbers. The one stable part of the most important city in the state of Missouri was St. Charles County. Not a role that St. Charles County's often been in the past, the leader of the region. But I think it is emerging to be that way. And had we had a destructive, extremist, MAGA-style Doge, if you will, let's just blow stuff up kind of executive, I think it would have compounded the issues for the entire region. Listen, Steve Ailsman's not some shrinking conservative. This is a true conservative, not somebody I would normally be supportive of, but I was totally supportive of him because he is captaining the only part of our region that has stability to it, and it was important and essential that it stay that way and we not play this extremist politics that Bill Eigel wanted to bring.
Michael, I'll toss this back to you, that in the 1st Congressional District, Wesley Bell defeats Cori Bush. Wasn't all that close back in 2024. It was one of the most expensive Democratic primary races in American history. This one, not quite as much fanfare. Did you think Bush had a chance?
No, I didn't. And the reason why is if you look at the success of most of the DSA, Democratic Socialists around the country, they had incredible communicators who had a grievance against the system. If you listen to Cori Bush from day one, I'm going to tear down AIPAC. It's all about her. Her grievances were for herself and not necessarily and Wesley Bell's done a good job, and I'm thrilled that he won, because I think going back in that direction could have been even more problems for St. Louis.
Yeah, grievance campaigns rarely work.
Until they do.
Right. Hey, real quick.
He said with a sly smile.
Can we talk Michigan real quick?
You have about 12 seconds.
Okay, then never mind.
Oh, no.
Can we do it? We're going to do it on Friday.
Oh, my gosh.
We're back on Friday.
I won't be there.
Oh, where the hell are you going?
Kansas City. I'm marrying my nephew. I mean, I'm not marrying him.
Is that legal there? Yeah. I didn't know you do that. Have fun, John. All right. It's Chris and Amy's show. When we come, thank you, Hancock and Kelly. We appreciate you. White House correspondent from Midas Touch, Luke Radel, joins the show next.
Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty. America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com. ChumbaCasino.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The smartest way to do your homework is Heckman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the trained professionals at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their team will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready to help. Also, check out their expanded paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deals, specials, and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock, and right now we've got sun and clouds, 81 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. What triggered the decisive defeat of two constitutional amendments in yesterday's Missouri primary?
And so what we really see is voters rejecting a lot of kind of Jefferson City control.
KMOX's Megan Lynch has more.
Neither came close at all. And this is really surprising.
University of Missouri KC political science professor Deborah Leiter.
Quite frequently when we see things like cutting taxes on the ballot, voters tend to support that.
Leiter says the overwhelming defeat of Amendment 4 that would have raised the bar for passage of citizen-led petitions and Amendment 5 that would have shifted income taxes to sales taxes show that voters from both parties disapproved.
In the closely watched Michigan Senate Democratic primary, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed narrowly defeats Representative Haley Stevens. ABC News political director Avery Harper says it's apparent El-Sayed's message resonated with Michiganders.
But what it does say is that there is definitely a desire for an outsider candidate, someone who is espousing some of these progressive ideals. I was on the ground in Michigan, and every time you go to a campaign event with Abdul El-Sayed, he begins with a very simple motto: getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, and Medicare for all.
The race was too close to call last night. The race has also divided the Democratic Party in Michigan. New Jersey officials say with their latest lawsuit, they're taking a stand for drivers behind your Amazon deliveries, accusing the company of working to keep wages low and conditions poor.
Those drivers show up in Amazon vans wearing Amazon vests, carrying boxes with the Amazon logo. But most of them don't actually work for Amazon. They work for small contractors, which the company calls delivery service partners. But the lawsuit claims those partners are entirely dependent on Amazon to survive and claims the company uses that power to control their routes, their hiring, and their pay, while crushing any attempt by workers to unionize.
The historic Virginia Theater in South City, built in 1910 for August Bush, has been vacant for years. The city's Land Reutilization Authority approved spending $115,000 in federal funds to stabilize the Dutchtown property that went from vaudeville to a Warenberg Theater in 1928. It was used as a church until about 2012.
A flood watch from 10 tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. Clouds and some sun, rather hot and humid this afternoon. A shower early, then a heavy thunderstorm later that can produce localized damaging wind gusts, the high about 90. Partly to mostly cloudy and sticky tonight. A couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, especially late. Those thunderstorms can produce flooding downpours and damaging winds, the low 72. Tomorrow, rain and a thunderstorm in the morning. There can be flooding on streets and highways. Mostly cloudy and humid in the afternoon with a stray thunderstorm. The high tomorrow, 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The weather sponsored by SNL Coin. It is mostly sunny and 81 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you. We were discussing the primaries that took place here in Missouri and, of course, across the country, focusing on St. Louis County and St. Charles races. Now we move to, well, a more national view. And joining us to have that discussion is Luke Radel. He's the White House correspondent for Midas Touch. Luke, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me again. Great to be back with you.
So you're in Washington, D.C., keeping an eye on the primaries and the reactions to those primaries. From the Hill, what races are people focusing on the most? Or what races were they focusing on the most?
Yeah, I think the Michigan Senate primary was the big focus for everybody last night down here in Washington because it's must win for Democrats. A Democratic Senator, Gary Peters, is deciding to retire and leave the seat. So the way the math works, the Democrats have to hold on to that seat if they have any chance of flipping the Senate come November, just 90 days from today. Abdul El-Sayed is the winner in that race. He'll be facing off against Mike Rogers, President Trump's chosen candidate. Trump, for his part, won Michigan twice, once in 2016 and again in 2024. He believes that his support of Mike Rogers will get him over the finish line. Didn't do it in 2024, I'll note. Mike Rogers lost to a more moderate senator, Democrat, and Alyssa Slotkin. We'll see, though, if, because El-Sayed is farther to the left, Mike Rogers can win over those independent voters he didn't get last time around.
Yeah, so what do we think about that? Does this hurt the chances for Democrats in November, or does this help them because they are a little more progressive, knowing that there might be a taste for that, a little more progressiveness in the country? Just not sure how much of that there is, though. So to me, this is a really difficult one to judge. How do you see it?
The political prognosticators have basically answered this question with a shrug. They're not entirely sure what's going to happen in this race. We still have 90 days of campaigning left to go. But that was much of the argument being made in this very long primary between Congresswoman Haley Stevens, a more moderate pro-Israel Democrat, and Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, endorsed by Bernie Sanders, ran strongly against funding for Israel and other matters related to the Middle East. The Democratic voters in Michigan made that choice, albeit by a much narrower margin than some of the polls were projecting it would. We came into the night expecting a possibility of El-Sayed winning by double digits. That did not happen. In fact, it took until just about an hour ago for many of the networks to call the race because it was so close. And so heading into this election, there is an argument to be made that voters in Michigan want someone more of a moderate, someone who can work across the aisle, someone like Alyssa Slotkin. The inverse of that argument is that Michigan for a very long time was a very blue state, and it took an outsider, someone like Donald Trump, to flip that for Republicans. Maybe Michiganders prefer having an outsider like Dr. Abdul El-Sayed in the case of electing a Democratic senator to send to Washington. So those are the two arguments. It seems as though Dr. El-Sayed has made that case effectively to at least the Democratic primary voters. Now he'll need to make the case to all of Michigan to send him here to Washington.
Does it come down to turnout? Because that seems to be the issue most years with younger voters anyway.
Dr. El-Sayed wants to run a similar playbook and strategy, honestly, to what President Trump has run, the way that he's won over many of these swing states, the states in the Midwest that were previously called the blue wall because they were so reliable for Democrats. He won those states by turning out people who don't usually vote, either for Democrats or Republicans, in your more traditional elections. Dr. El-Sayed is going to try to do that during a midterm year, much more of an uphill battle to get those folks to come out. But he's going to try and bring people out, by promising them things that they have not heard before. It's not the usual Democratic Party or Republican Party talking points. He has a very simple campaign platform and message. He wants to put money in your pockets, get money out of politics, and pass Medicare for all. And when you campaign on such a simple agenda, we saw this with the race for New York City mayor. Zohran Mamdani did this as well. That kind of sloganeering in politics is very effective. We saw it even with President Trump, build the wall. You knew what he stood for. And that is something that I think Al-Sayed is going to try and utilize to turn out people who are not usually voters. So certainly, if it's a high turnout year in Michigan, people coming out to the polls that haven't come out before, that bodes well for Dr. Al-Sayed.
You know, we have been, the national conversation has been along these lines about the rise of very progressive Democrats, specifically the DSA, winning these victories in states, whether it's a mayor, you know, or primaries for governor and so forth. And going back, say maybe 8 to 10 years, when you had the rise of the squad with AOC and Rashida Tlaib, Nancy Pelosi was still, you know, the queen of the Democratic Party in that sense, and that she was kind of reeling them in. And it felt like, hey, the institutional Democratic Party is still in charge here. But as we've seen the DSA gain these victories, despite millions of dollars from donors to the more traditional Democrats, are Democrats on the Hill, the institution, are they starting to feel like they're losing a grip?
There is certainly a vacuum of leadership right now in the Democratic Party. Chuck Schumer strongly supported Haley Stevens in this race. Haley Stevens lost. This happened in many races. In fact, we talked about the Maine Senate race where he backed the former governor there, Janet Mills, who got blown out to Graham Plattner. That ended up blowing up in Democrats' faces. They now have a new nominee up in Maine. You mentioned the squad, though, because I think what's happening where you guys are is very interesting in terms of a test in terms of how far the DSA momentum can go. You saw former Congresswoman Cori Bush try to take back her old seat from incumbent Congressman Wesley Bell. That did not turn out well for her. And I think the margins that we were expecting to see in the Al-Sayed race are slimmer because there is a lot of money flowing into these races, particularly money from pro-Israel groups that is backing these more traditional establishment candidates that helped give Haley Stevens a boost in the final days of this campaign, and definitely, supporters of Cori Bush would argue, boosted Wesley Bell over the finish line. The unprecedented amounts of money being spent in our politics right now, I think, has a real impact on voters. I'm sure when you guys turn on the TV, there were plenty of TV commercials about both candidates, but in particular, some of the candidates for the establishment have that backing. Unclear how effective that kind of spending is going to be, or how much money they'll have to spend on these races moving forward if it's demonstrated in states like Michigan that it won't turn out well for them in the end.
We're talking to Luke Radel, White House correspondent from Midas Touch here on KMOX. And there is a discussion about polling, and there always has been kind of that in the I shouldn't say always, in the last decade or so. This idea that maybe we don't know or can't really know just how it's going to look come election time because the polling is not sufficient. Do we feel like we've gotten better in that regard and figured some things out in the last few years? Because the Trump election, the first one, really surprised a lot of people. Have we gotten to a point where it is better, where the information, the data is better?
Well, Chris, I would ask you, when was the last time you answered a phone call from a number you didn't recognize? But then I forget, you do this for a living. You take calls on the radio. So let me ask your audience instead. When was the last time you took a phone call from a number you didn't recognize? That was the primary way in which polls were done. You would get random, you had a list of phone numbers, and you'd call random people on those phone numbers and ask them a series of questions. Not to mention, when was the last time you took a phone call from a number you didn't recognize? And then when was the last time you talked about your political views with someone you didn't know over the phone while they were taking notes on it? It's an archaic structure, archaic system. Polling institutions have tried to fix that and to find different ways to work around. And in large part, particularly on the national level, we get kind of a broader sense of what people are doing. But in these more specific zoomed in races where you want to see, okay, who's going to win and by what margin, the polls have been shown to be increasingly unreliable. Again, I don't want to make this comparison between Dr. Al-Sayed and the president because I think neither parties would be happy to hear me compare Donald Trump and Abdullah Al-Sayed. But the thing that they have in common is that they're trying to turn out those low propensity voters, people who don't come out to the polls, people who maybe don't talk about politics all the time. And those are the people that it is hardest for pollsters to find because they're not the people who are usually voting. They're not the people who are usually involved in our political process.
I don't take phone calls from numbers I do recognize.
He doesn't answer my phone call.
I see somebody's name pop up and I go, nope.
Yeah.
Do we need to work on that between you guys, Chris and Amy?
No, we don't. No, man. What,
group
couples
therapy
counseling
session
for
we
the two
need?
of us? Yeah, no.
We've been married long enough.
Yeah, it's awful.
The switching over to less contentious affairs, Dr. Anthony Fauci and the hearings from from last week. The Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee will vote tomorrow, I believe, on a resolution to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt following that hearing last week. Is this a vote that he's in contempt and then nothing happened? Where are we with this? Because you've got the preemptive pardon from Biden. You've got him pleading the fifth, which is totally his right. So what does this vote even mean?
Yeah, the vote's political. Surprise, surprise. Dr. Rand Paul, who has led the committee and led a lot of these efforts to investigate the people who were responsible for handling the COVID pandemic. You'll note that Dr. Rand Paul did not investigate the person who was president at the time when COVID broke out, which was Donald Trump. That's because Donald Trump is in his political party. And so this is all very much a political sham, really, in many ways. You're right. There is no enforceability for Dr. Fauci to be held in contempt of Congress for exercising his Fifth Amendment rights in this case. And for folks like Rand Paul, other folks in the Republican Party, they have been able to fundraise off of targeting Dr. Fauci. I believe Rand Paul released a book with Dr. Fauci's face on the cover of it and sold various numbers of copies of that book. And so for someone like Dr. Fauci, who spent decades of his life in public service, I know that is certainly disappointing for him and for other people who are working in government. Never really wanted to have the spotlight thrust on them in the way that it was with Dr. Fauci, and continues to be for political reasons.
There's been a lot of discussion about the attorney general pick by the president. He wants Todd Blanche to be that. And then there was some chatter that he wasn't going to be, and then he is. And now Susan Collins in Maine says she's going to oppose it. So where do we stand on that? And is he going to get confirmed?
The Senate operates kind of like a gauntlet, so there's kind of 2 rounds in which Blanche has to get approved in order to be the full-time attorney general. He's been the acting attorney general for the last couple of weeks. He wants to be the Senate-confirmed attorney general. The first round of the gauntlet was the Judiciary Committee, so there were 12 Republicans and 10 Democrats who had to vote on his nomination. All 10 Democrats voted no. All 12 Republicans voted yes, including 2, Tom Tillis of North Carolina and John Cornyn of Texas, who were initially holdouts, initially skeptical based on that $1.8 billion slush fund for January 6th rioters. Once Blanche signed off on a document of varying degrees of standing that he would not do that fund anymore, then they voted to approve him. The problem that Blanche has now is he's going to the full Senate. Supposed to be 100 members, but there are some key absences, including Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, who has been out on health-related reasons. So he can only afford to lose 2 Republican votes. All the Democrats are going to vote against him. That's already well established. The problem is there are 3 Republicans who had not been saying who they were going to support, how they were going to vote in this race. Susan Collins of Maine, who's up for re-election, she has now decided that she will vote against him. 2 others who have not yet said, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. Both have shown an ability to buck Trump. Both voted to impeach Trump after January 6th and remove him from office. They have not said yet how they're going to vote. They have a few more days to decide and to do so. But I imagine many of the reporters on Capitol Hill, including our own here at Midas Touch, will be asking them those questions throughout the day and trying to get a clearer answer from them.
Luke, quick question about a meeting yesterday before we let you go that we know that staff from Meta, NVIDIA, Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google all met with the White House about government vetting before certain new AI models are released. Is this something that has bipartisan support and that has real legs to move forward?
It's funny. It does not cut across partisan lines. Many Republicans are supportive of data centers. Some Democrats are supportive of data centers. And then many Republicans are in opposition to data centers. And many Democrats are in opposition to data centers. You saw many states taking action to try and hit the pause button on all the progress that we've been seeing, all the growth, all the building that's been going on. The president, for his part, is very pro data centers. Many of the AI CEOs, the companies that are involved in building these data centers, attended his inauguration, donated to his inauguration fund, or donating to help him build his ballroom on the White House grounds. And so for his part, he's been very bullish and very supportive on that. It's driven a lot of the growth we've seen on the stock market, which we know is something the president watches very closely.
Luke Radel with Midas Touch, White House correspondent. We appreciate you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to get away from politics for a moment because I got a thing that I think Amy is going to hate. I think a lot of people are going to hate it because a lot of people already do.
I'm guessing you hate it?
I don't like it very much either.
Okay.
But it is.
It's unity. It's unifying us.
This will be one of those. When I come back with it, you're going to say, "You've got to be kidding me."
Okay.
That's what's happening now.
No.
Yeah. It's Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
What if your bathroom felt less like a routine and more like a daily escape? Glover here for my friends at Michael's Baths. They can transform ordinary bathrooms into beautiful, comfortable spaces for homeowners across St. Louis and all the surrounding areas. And now they're introducing new premium walls, perfect for those who love the look of stone without the upkeep. It's sleek, durable, and designed to elevate your space. For a limited time, enjoy a free rain shower head or upgrade with safety features like grab bars or a built-in seat. Call us at 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, "Have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner." Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Siteman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit siteman.washU.edu/YDR.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Hey, Stewie's here from Stewart's American Mortgage, and he continues with some amazing offers for potential customers this summer.
You know what, Mark? We talked about the 1% reduction when you're buying a house. You lock it in at 6.5%. You get 5.5%. We're going to extend that to certain kinds of refinances right now as well. If you have an FHA loan and you need to go to conventional because it's usually better, we're going to give you 1% lower for the first year as well. It's a great opportunity. Take advantage now. Cash out, rate and term refinances from FHA to conventional, 1% lower for the first year.
A lot of people are just on the sidelines. They're worried about the rate that they locked in originally, and they need cash from their house, though, right?
That's right. It's a great opportunity. Look to see what you're paying on those credit cards. If you need to go ahead and do some improvements coming to your house, this is a great time to do it. Don't use your credit cards. The APRs are 30%. Stay away from those high interest rate type of programs. Refinance, get one fixed rate. It's not adjustable. 1% lower for the first year.
Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
So, remember how we've had these conversations about everything is a subscription service? And,
it's fatiguing.
Including your car, which, you can get the heated seats feature, and I don't know which cars do this.
Well, I know it was BMW had a subscription for heated seats that they stopped.
Yeah.
I think it was not popular.
No, because if you pay $80,000 for a car, give me all the blanking features that are on the car. I mean,
This guy.
Dude, with the subscriptions, just stop with the damn. We have enough subscriptions.
The only subscriptions in the car that I'm used to, I don't have them, but they know they exist, OnStar and Sirius Radio.
Well,
those are the two that have been around forever.
And how about...
And they're more like services. They're not part of your car.
And so how about Amazon?
Okay.
Which has, and they did this within the last couple of years, even if you pay for Prime Video, you still get ads. So you're paying for the service, but you're getting ads anyway. And the whole point in the past of paying for the service was you don't get any ads. Well, now you're getting that. Somehow BMW has decided and found a way to combine it all. Because now on the video displays for vehicles that were created after 2020, there is a Spider-Man ad that runs on the screen when you start your car.
Wait, so the screen that when you start your car plays a commercial before it shows you the time, the temperature, the radio, the music,
launched,
Apple Play, whatever.
So it launched about a week and a half ago. And what happens is it's running through the 10th of August.
Mm-hmm.
It displays a banner on the screen when you start your car. And again, it's happening in more than 70 countries. If you tap the banner of the screen, you get a full screen Spider-Man commercial, which takes over the audio system, plays whatever it plays, takes over the ambient lighting in the car, does whatever it does there. And it is part of a marketing partnership with Sony Pictures and Marvel.
Is the U.S. one of the 70 countries? I would guess.
I don't know. I'm assuming it is. It just the story from Auto Week says that there are 70 countries that are involved. Now, I'm assuming that it is because it's a huge movie market.
Well, the New York Post, always straight to the crux of the matter in their headlines. BMW owners outraged by Spider-Man ads that popped up on their dashboard screens. Quote, "We need ad blockers for our cars."
That is the problem. Because we're already inundated with advertising. There's advertising in radio, but that's how radio remains free for people. If you're listening, there's too many commercials. We have 4 minutes of commercials. If that's too much for you, then okay, pay us directly, and then you won't get any more commercials. How about that?
We turn into a public radio station that is constantly doing donation drives, which I appreciate.
Right.
I've donated.
But now, if you've paid for something and then you get ads thrown at you on top of it, that is infuriating.
Yeah.
Again, what's a BMW cost on a low end? 70?
It might be 80.
60?
I
don't know, but it doesn't
mean,
matter if it costs 20.
I think it's probably a lot of BMWs easily are 90 to 100. Easy.
Absolutely, and especially if they're all, they've got all, as they say, the bells and whistles. It's going to cost you a lot of money. But even if you've paid $15,000 for a car, that's $15,000 to not get inundated with ads. I don't want advertising on my screen. That's the reason that there are certain apps that you can pay for that if you take the free version of the app, you get a little banner at the bottom, and it's annoying, like a weather app, for example.
Right.
But if you pay for the premium features and you pay for getting rid of the banner. A lot of people do that. The $1, $2, whatever it is, because they don't want to see the banner. They don't want to see the advertising on the screen. Who wants to get in their car, turn it on, and then have an advertisement on the screen that they're projecting to you? And if they can do that, what else are they going to do?
It definitely feels like a violation. Do you know what it feels like? Remember when the Apple iPhone forced the Radiohead album on everybody? Was it Radiohead?
No, it was U2.
Sorry, U2 album. Sorry,
Actually,
U2.
a good album.
It is a good album. It's just
but
that
people felt violated by it. Like, don't add to my library.
It is a good album, and what they should have done, and I've had this conversation 1,000 times, because it does tend to be one of the reasons that people use to cite whenever they hate U2. They're like, I hate U2. Here's why they did this to my album. Drew's shaking his head, and he's nodding in the other room.
He's a child.
But still, that's why a lot of people, when you say
young.
U2, they go, oh yeah, those are the people who put their album on my phone. What they should have done is say, hey, they thought they were doing a nice thing. What they should have done is say, if you want the album, it's free. Here's the code. Go get it.
Because, I mean, you have to admit that it's not like giving people $15 in their bank accounts, which is an objective value.
Right.
Ultimately, U2, even though one of the greatest bands of all time, it's art, it's subjective, and a lot of people just don't want music
and
on their phone that they didn't want.
You couldn't take it off your phone.
That's right.
You had to do some weird workaround to get it off your phone, and that irritates people.
Yeah.
So,
but this
this BMW thing is crazy.
I don't think it will last.
Message on YouTube says, you do have way too many commercials. Then you're not... It's the same as every other station.
Well, I guess I'm not...
I'm telling you.
And also, I guess I'm not going to buy my BMW now.
Yeah,
I was going to go out and get one this afternoon, but...
They better take this back. And what I hope is that other automakers see the backlash against this and say, maybe we should not try that.
I think they will.
Idiots. Let's talk some Cardinals baseball. We'll do it with John Rooney when we come back on KMOX.
Some shows are about sports. Some shows are about nothing. This one's kind of both.
So the show's not really a sports show per se. It's just a show. Glover here. We talk about whatever is happening, life, work, random stuff. And yeah, the Cardinals always find their way in. I'm a lifelong fan. Love going to the games, love supporting the team, and love hanging out with you guys.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 for free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
83 degrees, real feel temperature, 96, a bit humid. A shower in the area late this morning, followed by a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. They could bring localized damaging wind gusts. A high today of 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, maybe more showers and heavy thunderstorms, a low of 73.
Brought to you by Staples.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, the Cardinals Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
Today,
the Cards, the Yankees.
Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
He singled on an 0-2 pitch. The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his third home run tonight! Unbelievable! Oh, baby, what a swing! A 2-run homer for Burleson. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Yes, he got his 18th home run in this series. He got it in this game.
Cardinals will wrap up their series against the Yankees tonight. We've got it at 5:10 with the pregame show. 6:05 is the first pitch from the Bronx. Also, Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 today. Tom Ackerman and me. We're going to talk to Police Chief Robert Tracy. We're talking to him at 12:30.
Really?
Yeah, because he's a Yankees fan.
That's right.
So Tom has him on, I guess, every year. And so we are going to talk to Chief Tracy today. But the Cardinals, they have split the series so far in the Bronx. They will try to win the bad boy tonight. Alec Burleson did that. 3 home runs on Monday night. We are now joined by John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, on the Quiver River Electric guest line. That was a fun night for Burley the other night.
That was a great night. It was a great night for a little bit of everybody up and down the lineup with a 7-run inning in the 8th inning after the Yankees took a 7-6 lead. I mean, it was as much fun as I've had in a long time.
Yeah, a great call, John, and it was fun hearing the passion in your voice. It was such a roller coaster. We were talking about sharing texts throughout that game. Those are really special moments, and I know that Burleson was asked after the game if he's ever hit 3 home runs in any league he's ever played in. He said he couldn't remember, and they said, well, then you probably didn't, because you probably would have remembered if you hit 3 home runs.
Oh, I guess so, but I think he was relieved that he was still a St. Louis Cardinal, because he had heard all the trade talks, and I guess they were pretty serious up until the last minute. The same way for Stanek, and of course Stanek came in, gave up a couple of home runs. May not have been the best timing to have him in a game when it looked like he was going to be traded and might be going somewhere else on a plane the next day, but I think he'll be fine the next time out. But that's all behind us now, and we'll see how the team settles in. And Hunter Dobbins did a pretty good job last night, even though he gave up a couple of home runs. He kept his team in the game. The pitching was good. Caleb Ferguson looked good. He's a terrific addition, I think. We need a left-hander now that JoJo Romero was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll see how it all settles in. And we play the Yankees tonight, then come home and open up the homestand against the Rockies, and then play against the Philadelphia Phillies on the homestand.
Let's go back to Dobbins, who pitched last night and looks to be part of the Cardinals' future, which is what this season has kind of been about. He gets into the 7th inning, gives up a couple of runs. That's a really good start, though. So what are you seeing from him?
Well, I see a pitcher who goes out there, makes his pitches, and he's come along the way they expected. And he has a very high ceiling, and they have big expectations for him, and I think they're well-founded. And what Ollie said yesterday he wants to see out of Dobbins is how all of his stuff plays now at the big league level over an extended period of time, because he's been up, he's been down, he's been back up, back down again, but he's here and he's in the rotation taking Dustin May's spot. And at some point, Quinn Matthews is going to be up here. And I think once he gets up here, he's going to be here to stay, because I like what I saw from him in Toronto. I'm at Katz's Deli right now. Can I get you a pastrami sandwich or whatever Meg Ryan's having?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Corned beef, do both if you can.
John,
the pastrami was outstanding.
Oh,
it's so good. The last time I was at Katz's Deli, I had actually just run the Brooklyn Marathon, and the reason why that's relevant is because those sandwiches are huge, and that was the perfect post-race meal. I just sat there and devoured that pastrami sandwich.
Well, I ordered the half sandwich with some soup, and I couldn't finish it. It's so much food, but
It's so much.
It's great atmosphere, and with Chip and Brad, and my friend Mike Treat came over. He's been on assignment over in New Jersey, so we were just kind of kicking things around and getting ready to go to the ballpark tonight and see what happens with Andre Palante against the Yankees. As the Cardinals have a chance to win this series, they have a chance to have a 3-3 road trip that looked to be pretty difficult against a Toronto Blue Jay team, and with a little luck, could have won one more game up there and perhaps won the series. But they got to win Sunday and then got to win Monday night in New York.
Ollie has talked to us a lot about Andre Palante and how he, just going back to last year, I mean, you had a lot of Cardinals fans, I think, that were soured on him. They didn't think much of him. And then look at what he's turned into. He's had, especially the months of June and July, and now we're into August. He's looked really good, John.
You don't give up on young players, and he's a very good example of that. So is Jordan Walker, how they gave them a process and they gave them a plan to work through during the offseason and carry that into spring training. And Palante really has done that. Plus, his breaking pitches have been good. His off-speed stuff to the right-handed batters have played really, really well. And he's getting ground balls from the right-handed batters now, not to the point that he did against left-handed hitters. He seemed to be just getting ground ball after ground ball against them. But then the right-handers, oddly enough, with reverse splits, seemed to do the damage. And Palante was under 500, but not this year. He's been a pitch maker and a guy who gets you into the sixth inning and sometimes into the seventh. And the Cardinals, they've needed that with a shorter bullpen when they went to that six-man rotation. So he's had a really good year, and I expect him to have a nice finish.
All right, John, so you are in New York. You're at the Cardinals playing in the Bronx for the last time, and it is such a monumental building and a lot of history there. So when you are at Yankee Stadium, what do you think of first? What's the thing that really comes to mind or the memory you have?
Well, I don't have the history there that I had in the old Yankee Stadium. And the thing I remember about the old Yankee Stadium, I worked the All-Star game there the last year of Yankee Stadium and was with ESPN radio doing the pre- and post-game. And afterwards, it was such a late finish on the East Coast that I just kind of waited for traffic to clear out. But when it was all said and done and I was on the field at the end of the game, I just went out to second base, sat on second base, and looked back at the big grandstand. And that's an image I'll always carry of Yankee Stadium. But I was there for the Jeffrey Mayer game where
Baltimore.
Jeter hit the home run that was taken away from Tony Tarasco as Richie Garcia, the right field line umpire, I guess he was running and his head was bouncing and didn't see it as fan interference. And if we had replay, that would have been overturned. Of course, we had replay back in 1985. That would have been a different story, too, for the Cardinals. But that's one of the memories at Yankee Stadium and there for, Joe Torre's World Championships and just to be in there where Ruth and Gehrig played in the old ballpark. And then this one next door, they did a pretty good job of making it very, very close to the old Yankee Stadium. And it's a nice place to work. And there is a lot of history even in this one, but Alec Burleson made history as the first National League player to hit 3 home runs in a game in new Yankee Stadium. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, 10 home runs in that game, the tied for the most in the Yankees home game. So that was a cool night on Monday. Go call a winner tonight and a series winner.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
That is John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals again. We've got the pregame show at 5:10, 6:05 first pitch. If I'm not mistaken, since we are approaching the 25th anniversary of 9/11, I am pretty positive that John, we should have asked him this question, and we will, but I think they were there in New York when he was with the White Sox. They were in New York getting ready to start a series against the Yankees when 9/11 happened. Of course, it canceled everything, but John was there.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I did not know that. This is kind of random, and I don't have too many of the details, so it's also a little bit vague for taste. But, the old Yankee Stadium that was built in the 1920s originally had wooden bleachers before they were replaced with like concrete seating. And I was watching an architecture renovations show years ago, and they were scavenging this couple because they're lifelong New Yorkers, and they had been scavenging different antique stores and so forth, but went to this old wood pile, I guess, dump site, and they found the old wooden seats, the wood slats that had been torn down, and they took that wood and they made it their wood floor. And so their wood, because it was all torn apart, but they were able to salvage a lot of this wood. So the old Yankee Stadium bleacher seats with the numbers and everything are part of their wood floor.
That's
How
very
wild
cool.
is that? It was
I like that.
It was in a dump.
Kind of like the Merv Griffin set. It's a Seinfeld reference. Seinfeld reference? Yeah. So that's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
I like that.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about Yankee memorabilia, I've told you, my old buddy Moose Scourin, who passed away 2015, I think it was. He was very close with Mickey Mantle because they were teammates together. And I told you the story about how Mickey signed something like 100 baseballs. Like he signed Mickey Mantle. He autographed them.
Yeah.
Gave them to Moose. Told Moose, wait till I'm dead, then sell them so you can make some money.
Yeah.
And he still had, at the time of his death, there's a safe somewhere with like 80 Mickey Mantle signed baseballs.
Oh my gosh. He just kept them?
Yeah, he had them, and I guess he was slowly selling them, but he wasn't like going out of his way to do it. And there were a ton of them left when he died. So I don't know what happened to him after. His wife passed away sometime after, so I don't know where they are.
How much would a Mickey Mantle signed ball go for?
I don't know. We'll get the research team on it.
Also, last Yankee thought, since we're just really on a roll here, do you know what's happening on Thursday, August 27th at Yankee Stadium, meaning the Cardinals just missed it by a few weeks?
No.
The George Costanza Calzone bobblehead night.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
it's awesome.
The typical Mickey Mantle signed baseball would range from $500 to $1,500.
Okay, I'm looking at it now, and I'm seeing up to 3,000.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, you might get at least $1,000.
It says Mickey Mantle was a prolific signer, autographer.
Yeah, he's a prolific signer.
So, and that does bring the value down. But,
that's why I only signed like one or two.
Yeah.
Keep the value up.
Well, at any rate, Ron, you really could have had a collection of George Costanza bobbleheads as we bounce back and forth here, because in 2024 was the inaugural one. I believe
Was it the couch?
No, he's batting. 2025 was the couch.
Yeah. Okay.
And this one is the calzone. You could have a whole George Costanza bobblehead collection, which would be actually pretty funny.
So have you seen the bobblehead yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it look cool?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
well,
it's a bobblehead.
I don't know anybody who works for the Yankees.
He's in his Yankees jacket and his work pants, and he's
holding the calzone. I don't know if I know anybody who can get me one of these. I got to work on that. I need this bobblehead. And
Let's
I'm not
call
paying
Danny
for it.
Wexelman. I bet she can get it for us.
She doesn't. She's got no connections.
I thought she spends a lot of time in New York.
Yes, she does. But
is MLB.com there?
They're in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Secaucus!
Yeah. So it's right across.
I
the
took a
river.
train through
MLB
Secaucus.
Network is there. Yeah. Yeah, we'll ask her,
Let's
but she'll
ask her.
probably get one and then keep it for herself. I mean, how many of these can she get?
Let's ask her.
All right, we'll find out.
Matt, send her a text.
Okay.
Yeah. It is the Chris and Amy show. We've got coming up Mark Hertling, retired U.S. Army general. He is a contributor to The Bulwark. He'll be with us at 11 o'clock. You may have heard about these cyber attacks on water infrastructure around the country. Several states have been affected, and the belief is that the attacks are coming from overseas, like countries like Iran. So we do want to talk to him about that, what that could mean for us, how we protect ourselves. So General Mark Hertling at 11 o'clock. But we've pushed back Did You See This an hour because we had our post-election extravaganza with Hancock and Kelly. So Did You See This is next on KMOX.
At Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans, your health is our commitment. That's why we provide high-quality health coverage at affordable rates to Missourians like you. And unlike other options, you can apply at any time throughout the year. From individual and family plans to dental vision coverage, our plan options are designed to meet your needs. Together we care, together we grow, together we thrive. Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us. Visit us at mofbhealthplans.com and contact your agent today.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like Fine Print Facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
Save time and money.
Do it now, don't wait till later. Call the top-notch renovator. It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
This summer, local events are happening all over the place, and i3 Broadband is a big part of it. At i3, we love being part of the neighborhood and are proud to support the events that make our communities great. We're also proud to deliver 100% fiber-to-home internet, recognized as Greater St. Louis's next-door neighborhood fave. We give you lightning-fast speeds and reliable performance. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
You're never going to believe this, Ranj, because you just went to Costco and discovered that you love their
Also,
underpants.
I went again.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got more shorts.
Underpants?
I tried. I couldn't find them.
Really?
I think there was a run on the underpants.
Do you think it's because we
I tried a
talked about
different
it?
location.
We had a texter say, "Oh, great, now everyone's going to buy those underpants."
Yeah, and I don't blame them if they do.
Well, guess what today is?
Underpants Day.
Yes, it is. It's
Is it
national.
really?
It is. It's National Underpants Day.
Oh.
So excited!
It was originally founded in 2003, so I did some research to see if Costco celebrates National Underpants Day by having special sales, and they do not,
Oh.
because they have low everyday prices.
Oh, come on. Stop it. Our prices are so low, we can't possibly. Yes, you could, because I like Costco, but I've looked it up. There are some things that you could find for cheaper elsewhere.
You know what I forgot to
It's
tell
not
you?
the single cheapest place in the world, so knock it off.
But it's pretty great. And I will say this, I forgot to tell you. Costco snacks, like chocolate, granola, munchie snacks, chips, those types of things, might be the best snack collection of any store in the world. They have a great snack selection.
Yeah,
So
well,
you need to just get on that.
I will for you.
Thank you.
I'll think about it.
You can keep it in your locked cabinet.
Amy, I don't know if you have heard about rabbit fever.
No, is it people love rabbits? I've got a fever and the only answer is more rabbits?
Yeah, it's about Bugs Bunny.
What?
Yeah, people have they're clamoring for Bugs Bunny cartoons again. It's like it's coming back.
Okay, well, first of all...
No, this isn't true. It's actually it's a bad disease.
I believed you because I
Rabbit
said
fever.
I went to Bugs Bunny at the Symphony, remember?
No.
It was like almost sold out. Bugs
No.
Bunny at the Symphony.
Health officials in New York, this is from ABC News,
Oh, great.
are reporting at least 3 probable cases of a rare bacterial illness on Long Island. It
And?
is tularemia. Tularemia,
Okay.
and it is also known as rabbit fever.
Do you get it from rabbits?
Confirmation of a tularemia diagnosis requires a combination of lab testing and fulfillment of specific clinical or epidemiological criteria,
Yeah, okay.
according to the health department. So here is what it is. It's a rare, potentially serious illness caused by the bacterium, according to the CDC, Bacterium Francisella tularensis.
Okay, you're not giving
is
me
a-
any information. Do I get it?
It's through tick bites
Okay.
and deer flies that have fed
Deer
on
flies?
infected animals such as wild rabbits, hares, muskrats, and rodents. The disease does not spread from person to person. So another reason,
Gosh.
another reason to hate ticks.
Ticks are the worst.
And I have a
The
question.
result of the fall.
This is a serious question.
Okay.
What is every animal has a purpose of some kind, right?
mhm.
What does a tick do?
Reminds you of your own mortality.
Like, what is the benefit of ticks? Like, if we got rid of all ticks,
Yeah.
what's the benefit? Like, how would that hurt us? How would that hurt
Right.
the ecosystem?
Because we always know everything serves a purpose of some sort. But
Yeah.
man, I don't like ticks at all.
It's often called rabbit fever because hunters who shoot rabbits and then skin and eviscerate them can become contaminated by that close contact with their tissues.
So you're telling me this story about hunters going after rabbits is not a Bugs Bunny story?
It is nothing of, well, there's a hunter always going after Bugs
314
Bunny.
says, good morning. I had rabbit fever about 30 years ago when I was in college. It is not any fun at all. It made me sick as hell.
Oh, okay. So
awful.
Yeah, don't get rabbit fever, but also know it's not contagious from another person. So that's good news.
That is great news. So if Matt gets it, he can still come to work.
Well, there's another thing to worry about. Matt, you're not allergic to rabbits, are you?
Last time I checked, no.
You probably are. That's
Probably.
a different illness, though. He's allergic to everything.
Have you said thank you once?
He's allergic to everything, including fun.
What? That's
When we come back, we will talk
said
to
good day, sir.
retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. You may have heard about some of these cyber attacks on water infrastructure around the country. How serious is it? What can be done about it? We will talk to the general when we come back on KMOX.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about FanDuel Sportsbook, which, by the way, is the official sportsbook of KMOX. And today, specifically, I want to talk to baseball fans. And look, being here on KMOX, we got a lot of baseball fans listening, and you follow very closely. So if you think you know who might hit a home run today, then FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. Look, joining the action super easy. You just make your free pick on who you think's going to hit a home run in their game, and if you're right, you get a profit boost that you get to use on your next bet. You've got a lot to gain. Look, I play Daily Dingers every single day. And when I'm right, I put that profit boost to use. And it's been a big kick in the pants for me here during baseball season. So don't forget, you can do this every single day, which is what I do. And it's just another reason why FanDuel is the home for home runs. So if you're ready to play your game today, just join the action at FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. You get to play Daily Dingers. You get to make your free pick on who you think is going to hit a home run every single day. So play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock, sunshine, 84 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. An overwhelming majority of Missouri voters said no to Amendment 4 that would have raised the bar for passage of citizen-led petitions, and Amendment 5 that would have shifted income taxes to sales taxes.
These were pretty clearly Republican initiatives, and they were pretty rejected. But I think we also have to say it, an 80% rejection rate. This was not just Democrats turning out at higher rates. This is also Republicans being non-persuaded.
University of Missouri-Kansas City political scientist Deborah Leiter tells KMOX's Total Information AM it's evidence that voters from both major political parties are rejecting Jefferson City control. In the closely watched Michigan Senate Democratic primary, Dr. Abdul El Sayed narrowly defeated Representative Haley Stevens. El Sayed called for the Democrats to unite behind him for November's general election.
Whatever differences that we might have had in the primary, they pale in comparison to what unifies us. A recognition that so long as we want to keep our democracy, that democracy better be working for people, and that all of us have to come together to make sure that we never let Mike Rogers see the inside of the U.S. Senate.
El Sayed faces Mike Rogers in November's general election, an open seat being vacated by retiring Senator Gary Peters. It's a must-win seat for Democrats. Stevens gave a classy concession statement this morning. Webster Groves taxpayers funded trips to strip clubs for a former city employee. That's according to Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick, who says the city's insufficient oversight of employee credit card use allowed improper charges. The auditor says there were at least $4,300 in personal transactions in 2024 for adult entertainment, Airbnb rentals, groceries, even a trip to a cannabis shop. The city's accountant and finance director were terminated. The audit recommends stronger oversight of credit cards and timely review of monthly statements. Flock, the license plate reading camera system, is under continued scrutiny. Now a Brentwood officer is accused of using it to stalk his ex during their divorce.
Boy, this is one of those cases that's right on the line.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young on Total Information AM.
Missouri law specifically prohibits the use of other government-owned systems that are used to track criminals or suspects. But Flock kind of falls between the cracks because it's a privately owned system.
Young says that's why there are no charges in the case.
We have a flood watch from 10 tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see clouds and some sunshine this afternoon with a shower early, followed by a heavy thunderstorm later that can produce gusty winds, the high 90. Partly to mostly cloudy and sticky tonight with a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm, particularly after midnight. Those thunderstorms can produce flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts, the low 72. Tomorrow we'll start with periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the morning that can lead to flooded streets and highways. Mostly cloudy in the afternoon with a leftover thunderstorm. Tomorrow's high, 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have partly sunny skies and 84 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, score a free repair or replacement quote and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
You may have heard about these cyber attacks on our water systems that have happened around the country, and the belief is they could be coming from foreign actors, which is not highly unusual, but a person who knows a lot about this and has even written about it in the Bulwark recently is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, friend of the show, with us on KMOX on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, General. How are you?
I'm well, Chris. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you great. So it's nice to have you with us. We love talking with you, obviously. We like to do it as often as we can. We like to do it when there's something better going on. But apparently these cyber attacks are a pretty serious deal. So what's happening and what do they mean?
Well, first of all, Chris, let me address your first statement. You know, it seems like the only time anybody ever talks to me is when all kinds of wars or disaster or horrible things are occurring. And I will have to tell you that I was in Toronto last weekend and saw two horrible games of the Cardinals against the Blue Jays and missed the Sunday game, which was pretty good. But anyway, okay, back to cyber attacks. You know, it's something, Chris, that I wrote about that talks about how the intelligence community, the military community, the national security professionals have all been watching for the last 2 or 3 decades the potential for using cyber activities in a destructive way, or a way that will create not only problems within infrastructure or government, but also degenerating a lack of trust by the citizens of a country in terms of people who are charged with defending them don't do very well. So when over the weekend when this cyber attack came into the news. It's something, truthfully, that during my various reporting on cable channels and in my writings, I'd said that we should expect it out of Iran sooner rather than later. Now, I'm not saying that it was Iran that did this, because I have no opportunity to view classified information. There are several nation states that can conduct cyber attacks. Iran is one of them, Russia, China, North Korea, and there are terrorist organizations that can do it too. So I'm not going to put my finger on Iran because I just don't know, but it would seem likely that it would be one of the candidates that would execute this, because it's part of the war in ways it's.
We're having a little trouble with General Hertling's
the last few
phone.
seconds,
So
yeah.
if you're still with us, that last part about why we missed.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. The key issue is a nation state or an organization will do this in order to conduct an asymmetric attack. Their enemy's power, which is in our case our military, and striking something that creates a lack of trust in our government or that is difficult to counter when an attack comes in.
So, okay, if one of the things we did hear you say there is that there's the idea that Iran or a foreign actor, what they want to do is sow distrust in our own government. So that benefits them in some way if the people here don't think the government is competent. Is that the intent?
Yeah, that's basically, and interesting, because one of the things.
We're having trouble with the phone. Let's see if we can reestablish somehow or find a different way to connect to the general. But yeah, like that makes a lot of sense, because if you think about just the last 20 years here, 25 years, I'd say really since 9/11 happened, there has been more distrust of the government and more anger at the government than at any other point in my lifetime. It was not like this prior to that. And granted, I do pay more attention now in the last couple of decades than I did when I was 15 or 20 years old or whatever. But I think that does exist now. Like we talk about
distrust of the government.
Yes, and I think
it's
way
has
worse.
Amplified.
Well, the conversation that we have, remember how when 9/11 happened, immediately we were all kind of on the same team.
Yes.
And it felt like we were all, people are wearing flag pins, they're flying flags, they're doing all this stuff. Well, it doesn't really exist like that anymore. And I think if a 9/11 happened tomorrow, we'd be shifting the blame. At least half the country would be. So we've got the general back with us again. So we're talking about why a country like Iran would be interested in doing that and the sowing of distrust among the population with the government. What does that do for them? What is the benefit of it for them?
Well, it avoids going head-to-head with our military, Chris. I mean, they're looking for ways to influence in a negative way the United States and our administration and our people. So the 9/11 attacks, I heard the last part you were talking about, is exactly that. How do you stop an airplane from flying into a building? And do you even expect that to happen? So the goal of any kind of asymmetric warfare is to avoid dealing with a nation's military, like the U.S. military, and hit them in ways that harms them and sows distrust between the citizens and the government. It causes damage. And that's exactly what a cyber attack would do. I mean, imagine, what I say in the article about the attack on the water infrastructure in Minnesota, or the attempt to do that, as well as multiple other states. The immediate reaction is, oh my gosh, we're not going to get clean water for cooking or drinking. Well, that's part of it. But every element of society uses water in some way. And if you don't have the access to that water, like a fire department, how do they put out fires? Or like a hospital that needs clean water for, doing operations or those kind of things. I mean, you could go down every element of our society and see how a lack of water affects it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at as you note in your story, no evidence that the water was contaminated or anything like that. But what it does do is it, as you note, it undermines the systems upon which our society depends. Being able to trust in the government, being able to trust in elections, or like you said, trust that the government can protect critical infrastructure from enemies.
Well, even beyond that, Amy, it's not just critical infrastructure. It's small things. I'll give you an example, and I think I can say this over the air. I was contacted by the FBI a few months ago, who asked me if I was using WhatsApp and Signal. And I do. I use those two apps to communicate in a relatively secure manner with people that I talk to. Well, they told me, hey, there's indicators that a foreign government, I won't tell you which one, has hacked into yours and about 6 other retired generals into their communication system, and they're getting information from those. And I said, okay, well, I'm not passing anything secret because I don't know any secrets anymore. But boy, that's good to know that they could put pieces together like where I'm traveling or what I'm doing or things like that. A few decades ago, Israel attacked, and this is well known, it wasn't established early on, but Israel used cyber warfare against Iran and shut down one of their nuclear facilities and caused it to grind to a halt and destroy its capability to produce plutonium for internal sources. Okay, it was a great military operation. Israel could say, hey, we didn't do that, and no one can prove that they could until later on where they made the connections. Now, the one other thing I'll say that I didn't say in the article that you guys cited is there are different levels of cyber attack. There are small levels, like controlled cyber attacks, like the one that seemed to be indicated against the water supply in Minnesota. That is going to cause a lot of disruption and potentially a lot of distrust in the government of Minnesota or the United States government that they couldn't stop it. But there are just massive cyber attacks that have been used against other countries that have totally shut down everything. If your listeners want to get a good example of this, and I cited this in the article, I was stationed in Europe when Russians conducted a cyber attack against the country of Estonia. They started off by doing a denial of services on their computers. Then they went to all their government agencies. Then they went to their hospitals and their ATM machines. Then they went to stoplights. So for a month-long attack against the country of Estonia, Russia completely shut the nation down. And, you know, you would think a country that had been attacked that way would say, oh, geez, we're never going to use a computer again in our history. Estonia did just the opposite, and they hardened all their equipment. They moved their servers to other countries. They distributed things. And today they vote by computers. They pay their taxes by computers. And the most important thing is inside of Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, they have the NATO Cyber Center of Excellence, where they train other NATO countries how to counter cyber attacks. On that note, though, I will mention to you that if we can remember, one of the small agencies that Elon Musk degraded at the very beginning of the Trump administration was something called CISA, the Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. And that agency no longer has the capability it had a year and a half ago, right at the time when cyber intrusions of different government agencies has become a much bigger issue.
It's really interesting and very scary because I think of how dependent we are on all of those networks. And going back to Estonia, as you note in your piece, that Estonia also shifted its emphasis, as you say, from the impossible goal of preventing every intrusion to the achievable goal of ensuring that their society could continue functioning despite an intrusion. So it built in resilience and redundancy. Yeah. Where is the United States when it comes to resilience and redundancy?
Let's just say nowhere near Estonia. I went to an exercise when I was still in the Army in Estonia on cyber defense. And it was interesting to me. They brought in a bunch of school children, 8th graders, the equivalent of 8th graders, and some high schoolers. And they talk about how on a weekly basis they have instruction on how to counter any kind of cyber attacks. They brought in their National Guard, talked about how they did different things, their equivalent of our National Guard. They showed me how their servers for Estonia are, one of their major servers is not in the country itself. They've placed it inside of Luxembourg. So if an attack comes again, it has to go through another country to disrupt their services. So, I could go on and on about the many things that they have done to create resiliency, but it gets to the fact that today Estonia almost doesn't worry at all about any kind of a cyber attack, because not only can they, counter it, but their citizens know what to do. And, when I left the Army, Amy, I went to work for a hospital. And one of the first questions I asked the hospital system is, how are you dealing with cyber attacks? Because you're a number one target. If you disrupt a hospital, imagine what it does in terms of devices that read heart rates, or your billing from that hospital, or how your charts are manifested in electronic medical records. It can shut down healthcare in not only the patient's rooms, but also in the emergency department. So you can see how doing something nefarious like this can reach out to all kinds of government and private sector citizens.
So we are not taking it seriously enough. There are enough people in the government that we could do something about it?
I'm hesitant to answer that question, Chris, because I'm no longer in government, but I do know that many of the agencies that were dealing with this have been disrupted. I mean, even the FBI, when the agent came to talk to me about my various Signal and WhatsApp apps being disrupted or being hacked into, I asked him the question, because this was pretty much at the same period where CISA had been decimated. And I said, how are you doing? I said, how many cyber security experts are still left in the Pentagon? And he just smiled and said, not as many as there was a few months ago. So when you start taking the people away from these capabilities, and cyber is just one of the many government agencies that have been disrupted by Mr. Musk and his DOGE effort, it tends to degrade your capability to provide for the nation's defense.
Before we let you go, General Hertling, we can, as always, talk to you much longer. You mentioned about a story in the Wildberries story in Russia.
Yeah.
And the distribution center. Can you kind of set the table? I feel like the headlines hit Iran, they hit Ukraine, but this specific story, its significance.
Well, yeah, this is Ukraine's deep strike against what's called the Wildberries outside of Moscow. And what Wildberries is it's the equivalent of Amazon in Russia. So Wildberries is the place where most Russian citizens get their packages from. They order online. They do the same thing we in America do, but it's called Wildberries. Well, increasingly, Ukraine has had a capability to conduct deep strike attacks inside of Russia. They're hitting logistics facilities, transfer points, hubs for sustainment, and those kind of things, because that's basically what Russia has been doing to Ukraine. But now Ukraine has the capability to strike back. And it's certainly affecting not only Mr. Putin's approach to the war, but also his capability to, it's doing the same thing we talked about with the cyber attack. It's sowing distrust between Russian citizens and their government. Hey, how come you can't protect us when our logistics hubs are being affected and we can't get our packages, or we can't get our oil or gasoline, and gasoline prices are flying? It's the same thing that any government does when they conduct asymmetric attacks against another one. In this case, this is one of the targeting opportunities that Ukraine has taken toward the Russian infrastructure to try and get Mr. Putin to stop his illegal war in Ukraine.
General Hertling, we love talking with you. We thank you again for joining us.
Hey, thanks. Have a great day, guys, and appreciate being on with you again.
Retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling with us, and you can read his piece in The Bulwark, and, of course, a CBC grad, St. Louis, and proud Cardinals fan, Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. It is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
You've pictured it, the garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 13th. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
We have someone watching on YouTube who is a big fan of General Mark Hertling, retired. And he said he had no idea that General Hertling was from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. CBC grad,
he's
huge Cardinals
fantastic.
fan, was just in town this spring, this spring, for his new book.
And did you know that Chief Robert Tracy of the police department is a big Yankees fan?
That's pretty bold to
So
be
we're-
outspoken about it.
I know. So we are going to talk to Chief Tracy at 12:30 on the Gas House Gang today. Cardinals wrap up their series against New York,
Mhm.
and that'll be today.
I did say this, though.
Tonight.
When they announced that Robert Tracy would be the new police chief for the St. Louis Police Department, I felt like based on his accent alone, crime went down a little bit.
I know.
It's a good accent. It's the accent you want to have in your police chief.
The
New York accent?
Yeah,
it doesn't do it for you?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Unbelievable. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. It's good. It just, it's not.
It makes you feel like he's not beating around the bush. Listen, here's the deal. Don't do crime. That's what it feels like. His accent sounds like don't do crime.
Okay.
You know what? You're no help.
I rarely am. Rarely am.
It's a great point. And yet I keep looking to you as if you're going to be helpful or positive.
You don't really have much.
In some way.
You don't really have much choice. We do have a texter who says that they know a friend's husband. Their oldest friend's husband is the Yankees executive chef. No promises, but they might be able to acquire for me a Costanza bobblehead.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I know, right?
I think you need to pursue this.
I think I'm going to. I would love that Costanza bobble. So the George Costanza bobblehead at Yankee Stadium is going to happen at the end of the month, and it is the calzone.
Yep.
George Costanza calzone. I cannot wait for that. So I hope that I can get one. I don't know that I will, but I'm going to try.
One thing you can't get is underpants on National Underpants Day.
I know.
Because you were praising the Costco underpants.
I was.
And apparently there was a run on them.
There was.
And a texter says, I was literally telling my friends about the Costco underpants at the pool yesterday. Can't wait to try them.
Well, I mean, they're all gone now because I tried.
I believe you told this person to stay away from your underpants.
I did. I said, please stay away from my underpants. Those are for me. And I went to a different location yesterday, and there weren't any there. So I got to find out. Maybe I got to go back to the old spot.
You also
Look at these. Look how tiny these are for mackerel. Ooh. It feels juicy and meaty. Look at these. Look how tiny these are for mackerel. It's flavourful and meaty. It feels juicy and meaty. The texture. Look at these. Look how tiny these are for mackerel. It's flavourful and meaty. It feels juicy and meaty.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but we're getting double audio.
Ooh. I don't know if you can see through the camera how meaty this feels.
So that's
It's
Marcus
almost
Ansel.
sensual.
It
Very-
is.
ooh.
And as you're watching and you're like, man, that fish looks kind of good, actually. Because I've never had any desire to have canned fish, like fish that comes in tin.
Yeah.
And so he reviews them. He reviews the packaging. He gets really expensive ones, like $50 a tin. People are sending him fish to review, and then he might let the dog have some. His dog, by the way, is named King Arthur.
I love that.
So I will, every time he posts, I will watch the entire thing. Like he'll do mussels, clams, tinned scallops.
It's a little ASMR because you hear the noises of the little tiny fork and of the tin, and the way he talks is kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And a little sexy.
I love it so much.
Sexy tinned fish. Ooh.
And then at one
that's
point,
great
so
tinned fish.
he always takes the fork, and then he goes, "Now it's time for the squish test." And then he'll push down the fork
How
on
many
the fish.
followers does he have?
Oh my gosh, let me see. I have to look now, but it's a lot. I mean, he's doing very well, and I'm very happy for him.
So I have one that is pretty similar. So his name is Riley Thomas Weber.
Okay.
And he is a point shoe fitter for ballet point shoes.
Okay.
And he sets his camera down and zooms in on the feet. I can kind of show you on the stream. Zooms in on the feet while he's fitting people for point shoes.
Okay.
And do we have some of that audio?
Well, I also think did you grow, do you think, since you first got these? Because they're tight. Like, they're short.
Can I take a couple?
Please do whatever you want, girl. You paid money to be here.
Well, you did us the courtesy of asking. So
I appreciate it. And it's right on the tip of both big toes?
Yeah.
Go Susu and face sideways for me. So right leg front. Yep. And then that way. Perfect. Will you bore for me? How long did
And
you have
those are
these?
his two phrases. He always says, "Go Susu" and "face sideways." And then, "Will you bore for me?" And if you're wondering, what does that mean? I don't know. I only know because I watch these videos. But he actually now has merch that says "Go Susu" and "face sideways." And when I tell you, I don't dance. I've never danced. Never wanted to dance. I don't know anything about ballet. I don't go to ballet shows. But every time Riley Thomas Weber comes on, and if you look at the comments, all the comments will say, like, "Quiet, my show is on." And it's just him fitting these point shoes. Go Susu and face sideways. How do these fit? And then I don't know why, but I watch all of them whenever it pops up. And that, literally, those are his phrases. "Will you bore for me? Go Susu and face sideways." And it's just him fitting point shoes.
Well, I think that's really strange that you watch that because there's no chance of you ever doing ballet.
But you don't eat tinned fish.
I can though. That's the thing is that I can go get tinned fish. If I could find some, or let me stop you there. I was in a grocery store the other day and I did look at the tinned fish and I thought none of these look classy enough. Because I want some of the classy stuff like Marcus Ansel, who, by the way, has 1.1 million TikTok followers. And he's got about 640,000 Instagram followers. I am one of those. Because because I'm going to get the fish. I'll get a mackerel. I'll get some tinned mackerel. I will take it home. And then I'll go, time for the squish test. I love the squish test.
You did or you did not get mackerel?
I did not because none of them looked classy enough. There was only a couple of generic versions of sardines.
There is a brand of tinned fish that has really funky psychedelic packaging. That's what you need. It's pretty cool. They sell it at specialty grocery stores.
That's what I need to go to. I wonder if World Market has any good tinned fish.
Might.
I'll try that there. This texter says, "What a world we live in, where people have time to listen to meaty mackerel videos and shoe fitting videos. These are definitely the good old days." Yeah, I guess, things are going pretty well.
I will say this. Life, relatively speaking, is pretty easy for us. For a lot of people, I know we all have our struggles, but there was a historian, and this is going to sound gross, Matt, I need to apologize in advance, but they were just talking about, you can complain about capitalism and so forth and so on, but this historian said, the fact that we're not all sitting in our own filth, dying of diarrhea, is amazing, because for 99% of human history, that was one of the number one one of the top killers, if not the number one killer of humans, is people would get sick, and it wasn't just the illness, it was, the diarrhea. And then it would spread because they didn't have plumbing, or people were living in close quarters or in war, and then hygiene. And he said it is unbelievable alone that we're all able to keep clean and not die of dehydration in that way. In the grand scheme of world history, if we're watching meaty mackerel videos, we're doing okay.
Yeah, there are people less fortunate who don't get to watch those videos, though. I'm doing well enough that I can watch this, and then I think to myself, why did I just do that? But I love it.
One of the texters thinks it's creepy.
I think it is because he is so polite, and he's just very...
That's what it is. We have a texter. Sorry, a texter. A 314 says Fishwife brand. That's the tinned fish with the psychedelic covers. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Fishwife tinned fish.
I've heard this before, that for people who are trying to start a YouTube channel or want to do that, that the advice given has been, whatever it is you're into, no matter how weird or niche you think it is, do it. Because there are other people like you out there who are just as interested. I have to wonder if the market is saturated. Like, what other idea could there possibly be that we're not thinking of? What kind of review channel could we possibly do that hasn't already been done?
It's a great question.
Like, what is it? Do you have an interest that you think is so far out there that nobody cares about? I mean, your running is one, but there are plenty of running channels out there already.
Running is actually basic now. Running is so big with all the marathons and books.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't even count. To be honest, I don't listen to running podcasts. I like to run, but I don't.
But I bet the market's saturated is what I'm saying.
It probably is. Hey, I have a question, though. I'm not sure why I'm going to you for this. So here's what I don't understand. Did foot fetishes existed before the internet, right?
Yes.
So how did that work? Did people leave want ads in the paper? Like, hey, looking for a Polaroid?
What do you... yeah, I do not have this answer.
Well, I feel like you would know somebody who would have information
The kind of thing about... No... That's not the kind of thing you just tell people. You have to find a discrete channel.
Because you would think that
you're not going to be judged.
You would think that the internet benefited that group of people a lot.
Yeah.
Because it had to have been pretty difficult before.
You can get yourself into so much trouble now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, because you can find all the other foot weirdos out there very easily. And maybe your significant other is not a foot weirdo, but you want to be, and then you find somebody else who is, now you're in trouble. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's so much easier to find somebody who's into your kink.
I gotcha.
Someone said that was the old Riverfront Times.
I think they used to say the old Riverfront Times was a lot of fun. But are you going to start watching tinned fish reviews now?
Yeah. Give me his handle. Give me his handle again.
It's tinned fish reviews. That's what they're called.
One more time.
And then the best part is when he says, "Let us decant the tin."
But
that's when he dumps it out onto the plate.
He's not creepy.
No,
looking.
He's great.
Okay.
So he's
older?
married? No, he's probably in his early 30s, I guess. And his wife films them for him, and he refers to her as the cameraman. I think everything about it is adorable.
That's awesome.
And fun and calm. I love it. I love tinned fish reviews. We need to get him on the show. I wonder if he's interested in coming on.
But he has 1 million TikTok followers.
1.1 million, and he's got 640,000 on Instagram.
I don't know if we're big enough to land tinned fish reviews.
You don't think so?
To be honest, Matt, I think it would be a great guest.
Okay.
It'd be really interesting.
If you're watching on the stream on YouTube, Facebook, or
He's
Twitter,
got the
that's
fez
him.
on.
Yeah, that's him, and that's King Arthur, his dog, next to him. The border collie.
Did you tell us that King Arthur also wore a fez?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got merch, tinned fish reviews.
I know.
Let's get this guy on.
I would love to.
Okay.
Marcus Ansel. All right, great. So, and I encourage everybody to watch tinned fish reviews, but only when the show is over.
That's right. All right. Well, I think Marcus Hansel, the tinned fish review guy, might be difficult to get a hold of. But you know who's very easy to get a hold of, and they answer the phone when you call? Rottler. A real
Rottler,
person answers the phone.
Then do they know about ticks?
You know what? This
Ask
is
them about ticks and the
unbelievable.
possum.
This is kismet.
Yeah.
So Rottler can help reduce tick populations around your home so that you can go outside, your kids, your family members, your friends, and not worry so much about getting bitten by these ticks. They can also help with mosquitoes. They've got treatment plans that reduce mosquito populations for weeks at a time. So you really notice a difference. Give them a call before you have your next outdoor gathering. It can make it a lot more pleasant. Also, actually need to call Rottler. It's been a while, and I've noticed a couple of spiders in my house recently. That's not great. So I want to make sure that I call Rottler. That first inspection is free. So whatever you're dealing with, ants, mosquitoes, stinging insects, moles in your yard, or the worst, roaches. That's disgusting. That first inspection is free. They'll check out your house and your yard, and let you know what needs to be done. Let you know a treatment plan for what you're trying to do. And they're great. They are the largest family-owned pest control company in the state of Missouri, and they will answer the phone when you call them. Visit them today at Rottler.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Each week during the Redbird Rush Hour, we put a spotlight on someone who's making the community better using sports. It's building community with Busey Bank beyond the game. Join us this week for another story of someone who's finding a way to make a big impact on the community we all call home. Brought to you by Busey Bank.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal, or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Ads have been a little different today, haven't they?
No. Vote no. Remember that one?
Hey, we have to run political ads. It's if they want to pay for them, we have to do it.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice to not hear them today. But just enjoy your break because they'll be back. The midterms are coming up. Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Anything you missed on the show today? Well, Odyssey app, KMOX.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. iHeart app, if you got that. Doesn't matter. We are there. You can download the show and the segments and everything else that you missed. We'll be back tomorrow night. Yeah. But before we close things up and start the Gas House Gang with Tom Ackerman and me talking Cardinals and stuff, we want to hear from you. And you're always welcome to text 314-436-7900. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. We're on Instagram too, at Chris Amy KMOX. You should be following us both. This texter or this message from Facebook from Teresa, who says, regarding the underpants at Costco, have you gone on Costco's website to order your underpants? And that is a fair question, Teresa. I have not. I know that you can, but sometimes I like to go into the store. I like to go into the store, know that I don't have to wait 2 days for my underpants to show up, and then I can bring them home, I can wash them, and I can wear them the next day. I have washed mine. I have not yet worn them. I feel like I'm holding out for a big event, and I don't know why.
Wait. How do you know you love Costco underpants if you haven't worn them?
I did try them on before I showered, and then I put them in the wash.
Were they in a packaging that someone else could have tried them on?
No, they're in a box. Nobody tries on underwear.
I don't know. Before we go any, not buy underwear that because a lot of underwear is not packaged, and I can tell you this: there are dressing rooms at Victoria's Secret, and I guarantee you, people are trying on underwear.
When maybe that's different because they're out, but men's underwear is not really out. It's usually in packaging in the store. I guess unless you go to some high-end place. But I need to know this. If you're listening, text in at 314-436-7900 or comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If you try on your underwear in the store first, like if you go get the Hanes package and you open it, do you open it up and test it and then do you try them on first?
You can't open it up because it's sealed.
It's not all of them.
But here's my...
You better not be doing that.
I don't know that I've ever seen men's underwear not packaged at a store, because women's underwear is a lot of times not packaged. If you go to Calvin Klein, like the outlet mall, it's in a giant bin. Women have to search through trash cans of underpants to find their underpants. Do men have trash cans of underpants?
No, they're in packages.
Is this sexism? Why do you guys get packaging?
Because I think most of us don't care what it looks like. It's just that looks good. And then they have there's the little hole on the packaging where you can feel the material. Yeah. And that's about it. Like you could feel the material and then that feels soft. Okay, I'll take that. But if you're trying, I need to know. Text the show.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. Are you trying on your underwear in the store before you buy it?
I don't understand why we have to sift through giant barrels of underwear, sizing all
because
helter-skelter.
I think most women, not all, but I think most women are more particular about what their underwear look like.
But you can see it through the packaging.
It's not the same. It's not the same. You want to know.
You sound very expert on this.
I've been underwear shopping with people.
Believe me, I bought lots of pairs of women's underwear is what Ron is thinking.
That's right. You know what to do with the podcast? Download it to your phone. Find it, KMOX.com, iHeart app, Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow at 9, but the Gas House Gang is next. Talk about the Cardinals finishing up their series in New York tonight. That is next on 104.1 FM. Oh, where the hell are you going?
Kansas City. I'm marrying my nephew. I'm marrying.
Is that legal there?
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Think before